Isn't much, but a slight drop in our humidity that began yesterday made it feel a little more bearable. I won't even call it pleasant, more bearable outside. 95 is our current temperature, and that was the high for the day. However, look at the dew point at Kenner, 67, so our heat index is actually a manageable 99. Now again, it's not much. It's southeast Louisiana at the end of August, and a 95-degree temperature is still hot, but there isn't nearly as much of a heat index. Normally with our typical dew points in the mid-upper 70s, we'd have heat indices above 110 right now with a temperature of 95. So while we're still hot, the heat index hasn't been as bad because there is less moisture, so your body is able to cool down more efficiently. We have been almost cloud-free with the exception of some fair weather cumulus, and most of our thunderstorm activity has been right along the coastline or just inland across the bayou parishes. That has been about as close as any rainfall has gotten over through southeast Louisiana. We are in the 90s, yes, or some upper 80s where we have a little bit more cloudiness, but the dew points have been lower. Now again, this isn't exactly a fall feel, but it's something, and all indications are we're going to get kind of a reinforcing blast of drier air as we head into the day tomorrow, so the dew points may come down even more. Again, not dramatic. I don't think we're going to see dew points in the 50s like we have to our north, Memphis, Little Rock, but certainly maybe more lower to mid 60s. And that is because we are going to get a weak front to push through. And this is something I'd mentioned even last week. Remember, our computer models really didn't indicate we would see dew points into the 60s. It's always kind of a question mark, especially this time of the year, whether or not that dry air is going to make it all the way past the coast. And it certainly is a struggle in late August for a cold front to completely clear the coast. Now, again, we get a reinforcement of that during the day tomorrow. And I think gradually we'll start to see the humidity come up a little bit more toward the middle to end of the week, but still in relatively comfortable or at least bearable levels. Next few days, those dew points more mid-upper 60s. May see them creep up a little bit toward the end of the week, but also going into the end of the week and this weekend, our temperatures may be coming down a bit. This is why the upper pattern, this upper troughing, is going to be persistent over the next several days. This is what pushes fronts on through. This is the pattern we hope for mid to late September. It brings down cold fronts. It starts to bring down that fall feel. So you take this pattern in a month from now, we start to get an early taste of fall. But certainly in the end of August, this is also a pretty good pattern to have because it does send fronts our way. And if anything were to try and develop in the tropics, it kind of deflects it away from us. Not that we're expecting anything, but the indication that with this pattern continuing for at least the next 7 days, temperatures may start to come down. And our temperature outlook going into the end of the month and start of September, so next week, we're looking at a slight likelihood of temperatures to be below average. Now, consider the average is 91. Below average could still be 89 degrees. It would at least be a little bit more bearable. And believe me, in August, the best we can hope for is more of a bearable air mass. Stalled frontal boundary sitting over us. Eventually, it's going to get that push during the day tomorrow. That'll send in that second surge of drier air. So the next couple of days, mostly sunny, mostly dry. Can't rule out a stray shower, especially along the coastline, but with that less humid air in place, it'll feel a whole lot nicer. And good news out in the tropics. While we do have tropical storm Fernand that is in the central Atlantic and stayed there, we had been watching over the weekend Invest 99. It moved into the Caribbean, and as of this morning, the Hurricane Center said 0% chance of development of this invest, and as a matter of fact, they've kind of removed the classification of an invest. Now, something we'll watch in the next couple of days is when you do get those fronts in the coastal waters, especially this time of year, you do have to watch them for something to try and spin up. As of right now, the model's not indicating that, but this is the time of year we would start watching those fronts that move into the Gulf or the coastal waters and just sit. Again, models right now not indicating anything. Less humid over the next couple of days, but as we head into the weekend, Friday will bring in a chance of rain with another front, and then drier and a little bit milder for our Labor Day weekend.